Welcome back to Giant Monster Games. I'm Adrian, and we are playing Mono Black Control. We won the dice roll, so I'm going to play first. Isn't that neat? And this is an opening hand I think we can keep. It is one that I would definitely take home to show my parents. That's right. Do you guys not do that? Take your magic decks to show you? No, I'm not even sure what I'm talking about here. Okay, guys. It's late at night now. Normally I record early in the morning, now it's late at night, and I'm just kind of feeling a little bit tired, which means I may be a little bit kooky when we're playing. Anyways, shipping it through to our opponent's turn. We just play a swamp. We don't have any Duresses or Inquisitions, so we're just going to ship it through, and probably next turn, depending on what our opponent plays, we're playing against blue, which means we're not playing against Scape Shift. Well, it looks like we're playing against fairies, potentially, which is fine, because I can just blow this fairy up. I'm okay with blowing some fairies up. Okay, going to our turn. We draw a what? What do we draw? Waiting for our opponent. Does our opponent have something they can do on our upkeep? I think the opponent just has a stomp on our upkeep is really what's happened. Well, we gotta draw a Ghost Quarters, which is going to be handy down the road. In the meantime, we will just Victim of Night the fairy. I know obviously we could hold it up and use it for something else. I mean, the fairy's not going to do a ton of damage in the meantime. But there is a couple things. If we are playing against a fairy tribal, it is completely possible. Hey, there you go, Smuggler's Copter. It is completely possible that our opponent may need to bounce a fairy to play a fairy. I'm thinking of the one that is. I'm sure it's something like fairy something or I don't remember. I don't remember at all. But it has a Champion of Fairy ability, which is a good fairy that you see in fairy decks. Not that we're actually playing as a fairy deck. It's completely possible, but I mean. You generally see this guy in fairy decks because it's only time he's worth playing. Fairy Rogue, yeah. Okay, we draw another Phyrexian Arena. I think we just play the Phyrexian Arena and ship it to our opponent because I am very interested. We're not going to play a second one. Playing two is going to be super dangerous, but we're going to play one. We have two in the deck because we want to draw one. We don't ever want to draw two, but we have a second one in our hand, which is unfortunate. So play the first one. We're going to be drawing extra cards, which means we'll draw into hopefully more lands, and then hopefully, additionally, more removal spells. So I'm assuming mono blue fairies is my guess that we're playing against. Smuggler's Copter seems decent in it. I don't know. I'm not sure how I feel about Smuggler's Copter, actually. Or it could be something completely different. It could be a Pilla deck. Possible. This card is definitely played in Pilla regularly. So we may see Pilla, which means we may need to. Well, we're gonna have to find a way of getting rid of this guy. So our opponent crews for one, which is good because that means if we draw a land, we can actually blow up this guy. So our opponent swings for 3, which does suck. 3 damage is not necessarily where we want to be right now, but it could be worse. Drawing extra cards is also going to allow us to hopefully get to the end game faster. Well, I guess theoretically it's going to get us to end game, whether it's our end game or us winning against our opponent's end game. So one of the ways we'll be getting to the end game. Okay, so first thing we draw from a Phyrexian Arena is a Swamp and a Duress. Neat. Well, I think we just go play this and ship to our opponent. I think that's what we do. So our opponent has to get rid of the guard. Because this guy here makes all other creatures get +1/+1. Target artifact becomes blue in addition until end of turn, and you can tap a blue creature to add two colorless mana to your mana pool. So that, in combination with Pilla goes infinite for mana, and then you spend the mana to do whatever you want to win the game. We made a Pilla deck on this channel. It's interesting. I haven't played it very much, so I don't really know. Hey, look at that. So he creates Fairy Conclave, becomes a blue creature. Neat. And he also plays the Judge's Familiar, which means our opponent's going to swing in for another. That's no fun. Or maybe we're playing against Favorable Wings. That is also a complete possibility. Favorable Wings. In theory, we should be able to win against Favorable Wings quite easily. I think we might need to blow up this land, though. That's my only kind of potential concern. We're going to hold up for now. Opponent swings in for 4. Swinging in for 4. Pays 2 to make it into a fairy. That's a thing. That is a thing. Okay, well, Favorable Wings. 4 damage now. we have a couple turns where we can do damage. We're not too concerned about killing our opponent's stuff. We can theoretically play another Gatekeeper. Depends what we draw. We have 2 draws, so we actually have lots of options potentially coming up. But being able to destroy both of these is a good thing. We have no way of destroying the enchantment, so Favorable Wings is going to stay in play as far as I am understanding. Okay, so we lose life, draw a card. What do we draw? Anything good? Tell me something's good. I'm not sure why. Okay, so we draw a Desecration Demon, which is actually quite good. And so we could, in theory, Duress our opponent. I think that's what we're going to do. I think... See, the thing is, if we play Desecration Demon, then we can block either of these guys for a favorable trade. And if we Duress our opponent, we get to see what they have in hand. The thing is, if we Duress, then we don't get Ghost Quarter, and Ghost Quarter can be used to actually blow up the Fairy if he decides to play Fairy. The other option is playing Gatekeeper, making him sacrifice his Judge's Familiar, which... Gatekeeper 1, 2, 3... Yeah, so let's dress our opponent. We're not going to play Desecration Demon this turn. Mana Leak. Opponent decides not to play it. So, okay, so Grand Architect. Well, that's a thing. That is a thing. So he's going to be able to swing in for 4 no matter what. So that means we have to play Desecration Demon. If our opponent didn't have another creature, we would have actually probably just played Gatekeeper, made him get rid of this, and then we would have probably just used... oh, we couldn't... yeah, then we would have used the Ghost Quarter to blow up the Fairy thing, so we can't actually create a flyer from that. But this way, we're going to go... Might as well swing in on the ground. There's no point in holding up the Gatekeeper. So swing in with Gatekeeper and ship it to our opponent. And our opponent's going to have to think twice about what he attacks in with, because if he attacks in with Smuggler's Copter, we still trade favorably for us. But he can swing in with all 3 things, and then that actually is... Well, no, he can swing at two of the 3. But he can also play this creature that he has in hand. Okay, he tapped on his land. So this makes Judge's Familiar a 3/3. This makes this a 4/4. So, Favorable Wings makes the Smuggler's Copter a 4/4. So he's going to swing with a 3/3 and a 4/4, I think. We will block and kill the Smuggler's Copter. So he's going to tap 2. What else does he have to play? So he plays another Smuggler's Copter. That's neat. And what else does our opponent decide to do? So our opponent is out of cards at this point. We have a relatively short clock. Opponent's gonna crew. I think he's just gonna swing, but swing at the 4/4 doesn't make any sense though. I mean, because he doesn't have any way of doing extra damage with the Smuggler's Copter, so we just trade favorably. Sure, our opponent gets to loot, but I mean, looting to just throw something into the graveyard for a deck that doesn't seem like they want stuff to go into the graveyard doesn't seem to make sense either. So I don't see how our opponent wins through that. I don't see at all. I'm gonna always yield to you because I'm not sacrificing my own creatures to not have Desecration Demon die. So yeah, and it depends on what we get. Yeah, okay. So we're gonna draw one. If we draw a removal, we can actually probably just spot these guys away. Gets Verdict is good, and Duress is bad. So, I think we Gatekeeper... Let's think. I can Gatekeeper gets a Verdict, blow up Fairyland, and then our opponent isn't going to be swinging in for any damage, theoretically. I think that's probably the best bet, and then swing in for 8. Yeah. Let's go to combat first, though. Assuming our opponent doesn't actually get another creature. So, yes. Our opponent also could have sacrificed creatures, so Desecration Demon doesn't do anything. The other thing is we can also leave up Desecration Demon, swing in for 2 now, and then get rid of all of our opponent's stuff. Just in case he does play something he can't swing in with Smuggler's Copter. I mean, we are on a short clock. We're not on that short a clock. We're on a shorter clock if we let him swing in. So, I think we swing in for 2. Which is fine. Not the end of the world. And then Gatekeeper and gets Verdict, probably. Okay. End combat. And we have to do all this stuff, unfortunately, on our turn. Because I don't want him to activate and then destroy one of his Smuggler's Copters. Doesn't really seem like a favorable option to us. So our opponent is going to... Yeah. So our opponent is going to sacrifice creature. I should have Gets Verdict first, actually, if I was thinking. Because then if our opponent decided he wanted to sacrifice the Judge... He might actually sacrifice the Judge's Familiar anyways. Okay, he totally does. And then we will Gets Verdict. Oh, I don't have... Oh, I do. I did have enough. Did I? Where did my extra mana come? Where did my... Oh, I had 3 mana from that. Ah. I can't do it. Oh, that's no fun. Oops. Well, I mean, I still have to creature. But I think we Ghost Quarter... I think we Ghost Quarter this straight away. Yeah, I think that's what we have to do. And then, in theory, I could Duress our opponent, but he doesn't have any cards in hand, so Duressing him doesn't make any sense. I didn't realize this is 3. Ah, I knew it was 3, but I didn't realize it was 3. I mean, that one of those things that happens. And our opponent is probably just going to grab a island. Nothing too special. I don't think our opponent realizes as well that we have... well, I mean, Ghost Quarter for our opponent is just a colorless card for them. Colorless producing land. And I think we're just going to ship it to our opponent's turn. We could have, in theory, played Memory Side, but I don't really know what we would grab out of our opponent's deck. Pilla-Palla, maybe? Might have been an okay idea. Yeah. Our deck is generally quite a bit better than our opponent, or quite a bit better against our opponent's deck. So, does our opponent decide to do anything? They just play... What do they play? They've had a land. Surprised they didn't just hold it up, actually. Generally, if you drew another land, unless you needed it, you should have just held it up. Hold it. Pretend you actually have something of importance. Okay, so we draw a swamp. And another swamp. I think we get Verdict straight away. So he... Yeah. So we get Verdict right away. So if our opponent's smart, he will tap this guy down and make Smuggler's Copter a creature, and then use that Smuggler's Copter to activate the other Smuggler's Copter. But our opponent decided not to do that. He would have done that so then he could have sacrificed one of the Smuggler's Copters to prevent damage. So we swing in with everything. Doing some damage to our opponent. And do we play anything else? I don't think so. I think we just ship it to our opponent's turn, and I don't see how our opponent doesn't die. Well, I guess if he draws a creature, he could potentially block. He doesn't, so we're going to sideboard. We're playing against a creature-ish deck. So, I think we're going to take out, potentially go for the Throats. We don't really need them. And what do we else do we take out? Member Side, don't really need you either. Sudden Spoilings is good. Contaminated Ground doesn't really help us out. Duress doesn't really help us out. Extirpate, I think Extirpate actually is quite good. We get something in the graveyard, we can actually just keep destroying, we can like get a whole bunch of stuff out of his graveyard. Seems decent. I'm tempted for Hero's Downfall as just a different type of removal. I'm taking a go for the Throats because we have no way of actually dealing with... Oh, actually Duress also can come out as well. We'll put one go for the Throat back in. Just because go for the Throat doesn't actually hit like Smuggler's Copter, which is unfortunate. So that's a thing. I don't think it hits Pilla-Palla either. So that is a thing. And I put in Sudden Spoiling, so if he does get to do the like Pilla-Palla combo, we can hopefully do that and turn his creature into just a 0-2. So he can't go infinite. We can hold it up as a potential way of preventing our opponent from going infinite. This is a good opening hand. It'd be nicer if we had a third land, but I think we'll keep it the way it is, because it is not a bad opening hand. So Favorable Wings. This is the second time I've played against this deck in a couple weeks. Hey, the Mausoleum Wanderer. That's cool. Yeah, but I mean, this is the second time I've played against Favorable Wings in like a couple weeks. Surprising. I mean, I guess it's a pretty popular Saffron Olive deck, MTG Goldfish deck. And we draw, yeah, good, another swamp. That is what I want. And let's go like this, Duressing our opponent. See what they have in hand. See if there's anything that we want to and can remove. Do we take out a Duress? I thought we took out a Duress. So, he's going to counter it unless we pay X. X being 1. Can't pay it. Whatever. Opponent can sack. I'm fine with that. If I had a removal spell, I probably would have played it anyways. So, yes. And ship it to our opponent's turn. I have nothing else to do here, so go to our opponent's turn and Favorable Wings. Basically just trying to get a whole bunch of value off of... What is this? Whenever a creature deals combat damage to you, its controller... Hold on. Whenever a creature deals combat damage to you, that creature's controller gains control of Wasteland. Or Construction Waste Zone, okay. Add mana, attacking creatures get blah. That seems terrible. Why would you play that? Why would you play this? Seriously. I mean, I get it that it can make your attacking creatures get bigger, but if I hit you, I get this card. I get to steal your land. I don't see how that is at all favorable in any way. Oh well, I'm not the one that made the game. I'm not the one that made that decision. And ship it to our opponent's turn. We're going to play Vampire Nighthawk next turn, and then Desecration Demon the turn after. And our opponent is going to have one heck of a time. Hey, Jace's Phantasm. That is a strange card to have in a Favorable Wings deck. If it was a Favorable Wing mill deck, sure, but it's not, so why? And I think we just a Victim of Night Smuggler's Copter. We do it right now, being in combat, so our opponent doesn't get the loot, because I'd rather our opponent not get the loot. So, goodbye. I know it adds a little bit here, but it's going to add more and have, you know, big creatures in play. And we now... Oh, Inquisition. Inquisition is also pretty rad, but I think Vampire Nighthawk, because this is what? This is if there are 10 or more cards in your opponent's graveyard. I don't have any clue how he's ever going to accomplish this. I didn't see a single mill card. This is not worth playing. This is not at all. Just for those people out there, Jace's Phantasm is not worth playing in a deck that is not a mill-based deck, or a deck that is like doing some mill. And we didn't see any mill in our opponent's deck, so I don't get it. I don't get it at all. And it's our turn. It is our turn. Extirpate. What do I want to extirpate? I don't think I want to extirpate anything, to be quite honest. I think I actually want to Desecration Demon to make it so our opponent is not going to have a good day. In the meantime, I think I'm just going to swing in with the Vampire Nighthawk. Swinging in. If our opponent decides to activate this, that's fine. I don't really care. I don't think he will. He does not. Okay, good. And I'm just going to play Desecration Demon. Oh, is our opponent deciding? He could, in theory, still... Oh, no, he can't. So we gain control of his War Zone. Which, again, I don't know why you would play War Zone, ever. Ever. It seems like such a bad card. Like, most games are designed that you're going to get in some damage, specifically with creatures. And this is whenever, yeah, creature deals combat damage, you get steal it. So, okay. I guess our opponent's going to be able to probably steal it back. No, he won't. Unless he plays a creature, he's not even going to be able to steal it back. So next turn, I'm going to swing for even more damage. And then gain even more life. Oh, Vapor Snag. That's neat. Goes back to our hand. Sure. So our opponent's going to steal back Warzone, which is fine. I don't care. I really don't care. Whatever. So weird. Such a weird thing. So our opponent's going to swing in for 3. Get a loot, which is cool. That's fine. I'm okay with that. I just don't see how our opponent wins here. I just don't see it. Not even a little bit. I guess the question is, what do we extirpate? Like, what if we see a card? What do we actually aim to extirpate out of our opponent's graveyard? Fairy Mechanic. This guy, Fairy. What is this? Misker. I don't know how to pronounce that. That is a card we're going to extirpate. So our opponent's going to steal back this thing. If we draw into another swamp, that'd be rad because we can extirpate and Desecration Demon, which would be super neat. And the verdict is what? What do we draw? And behind door number 1 is a swamp. Gets verdict. Gets verdict is good. We could, in theory, Inquisition, extirpate, gets verdict all in one turn and swing for 2 still. I think that sounds like fun. Sounds like a lot of fun. That is like my definition of fun, basically. My definition of fun means my opponent's not having very much fun. Okay, so swinging with Vampire Nighthawk, which is cool. He takes 2 damage, we gain 2 life. We gain Warzone. Sure, whatever. Oh my god. And then I think what do we do first? First of all, we Inquisition. Because I think that's the one, if he was going to play a counter, he's probably going to counter on Inquisition. And if he does counter with, say, something like a Mana Leak, we can, in theory, pay for it. In theory. Depends if we want to. So Mana Leak on Inquisition. Do I care with one card in hand? I don't. I'm not going to pay 3 mana for it. Instead, we're going to extirpate the Fairy, because I'm assuming he should have 4 of them. Playset of Fairy seems like something he might actually have in the deck, because the Fairy actually does get some value. There we go. We can actually take a look at our entire opponent's deck here. So, our opponent has a bunch of crazy stuff. So he has more Fairies, which is what we were aiming to get rid of. He has Favorable Wings, which we knew about. Grand Architect. Does he have Pilla-Palla? I don't see Pilla-Palla in here. Why would you run Grand Architect and not Pilla-Palla? That seems kind of strange. More Smuggler's Copters. Spreading Seas, I guess that is going to be helpful for him. So, nothing of interest. There's nothing of interest in this deck. I don't even know what our opponent's playing. It's Favorable Wings, but it has some very, very strange upgrades. So, sorry, dude. And he has Grand Architect, so I guess theoretically we actually could have grabbed Grand Architect out of our opponent's hand. So, here be's the question. Do I get rid of the Smuggler's Copter from Grand Architect being played, and then... Or do I get rid of this guy? I think we're going to Bile Blight the Smuggler's Copter. Is the way we're actually going to go. Yeah, that's what we're going to do. Gets a Verdict would be rad. I'm not going to lie. Gets a Verdict would be very rad. But getting rid of the Smuggler's Copter is going to be a little bit better for us. So he's probably going to use this to activate the Smuggler's Copter. We'll take 2 damage from the Jace's Phantasm. Sure, which is fine. And we're going to Bile Blight at the beginning of combat so he doesn't get loot. Because I'd rather our opponent... Or do I? I do want our opponent to loot. I do want our opponent to loot. He's going to throw it into the graveyard. He's going to draw a card, discard a card. So it may give us more targets if we have another extirpate that we pull. So in response, we will Bile Blight this guy. Bile Blight the Copter. Goodbye, Copter. If the other Copter was still in play, we would have got rid of both of them. But I'm not going to get greedy like that. Bile Blight is really a card that is designed to go against like token decks, where you have a whole bunch of 1/1s or a whole bunch of 2/2s. And does our opponent... okay. Oh. Very, very interesting. Sneaky move there. I see what you did. Either way, I'm going to take 1 damage instead of 3. Very sneaky move on our opponent's part. Very well played. Basically turned his Smuggler Copter blue so he can give it +1/+1. Neat. Alright, well, that's a thing. That is a thing. Well, we take 3 damage, which is fine. It's fine. It's okay. No one worry. Our opponent steals back the combat zone, which no one has been able to use at this point. Super funny. So, extirpate. So, I think we just Desecration Demon here. Should have played it in second main phase, but I'm going to play it this first main phase, and then I think we just swing, always yield. I think we just swing for 2? Yeah. That is what we're going to do, is swing for 2, because we do 2 damage to our opponent, then draw, gain 2 life, which is neat. And then we have the ability next turn to either extirpate or Gets Verdict, or both. Both seem like a very viable option. Get rid of all the rest of the mana leaks, or get rid of the other Smuggler's Copter. You know, both are very good options. Assuming he, yeah. So, they're all good options. That is, even if our opponent decides he wants to attack. He may decide not to attack. If our opponent doesn't attack, we may actually use this guy. Creatures get +1/+0 until end of turn. That'd be really cool. And what do we draw? Because our opponent just skips it through to our turn. We got Victim of Night. That is awesome for us. Yeah. So, let's Victim of Night this guy. And this is, what, 2 mana? 1 mana. So, Victim of Night, the Grand Ambassador. Grand Architect, not Ambassador. Grand Architect. So, do I blow up this guy is the next question. I think... So, he's going to crew. Cancel. He's going to play Gets Verdict, but that is a really bad option. Because he can just get Verdict, the thing we're targeting. So he's going to crew Smuggler's Copter, which is fine. It's okay. If he is... So yeah, so we're going to blow up Grand Architect. And what else do we do? Grand Architect is going to give this guy blue, make him blue, so he can get +1/+1 until end of turn, technically, and then loses it because Grand Architect goes away. And if we swing with, let's just swing with both. I think we swing with both. And our opponent's obviously not going to sack something. Seems risky to sack something. And we go like this, thinking that our opponent's probably going to block Vampire Nighthawk with Smuggler's Copter, but then that kind of puts our opponent in a really bad spot. Oh, opponent doesn't do anything. Opponent literally just takes the damage. Okay. So, what now? We could... I think we just gets Verdict on their main phase. And then they have to get rid of Jace. Oh, we should have done that, oh. Should have done it on our second main phase. Ah, no, we couldn't have done it. So this works. Yeah, so let's go this way. So he's going to get rid of his Jace's Phantasm, which is fine. He's going to swing in for 4, which at this point doesn't really gain him any life. He's not, or gain any advantage. Like, he's going to swing in for, what, 3, and then we're going to kill him next turn. So I don't see how this helps our opponent at all. I guess in theory he could actually give it, what? he can make it a 4/3, do 4 damage to us, which we're still above our starting health life, starting health life. That is a new thing. And he pitches a Mana Leak. Yeah, he gives his creature +1. I don't see it again. He doesn't win this way. He doesn't win anything at this point. Which, sure, you do your thing. You go, boy. You go. You go, guy. And we get to swing in and win the game. Hey, Ghost Quarter. Neat. Let's play Ghost Quarter. And let's just go to combat, swing with everything, and win the game. I believe. Unless miracles come true for our opponent. I'm assuming no. I'm assuming this is game. And does our opponent have a combat trick? He Vapor Snags. Oh. Well, that's no fun. It's no fun at all. Well, in response to Vapor Snag, we're gonna not... Yeah, you're gonna get rid of Grand Architect. Why not? Might as well. We're gonna replay the, like, Desecration Demon after combat, so that's just fine. Let's get rid of all your Grand Architects. It's the only thing that is potentially gonna save them, so I think that is enough way of handicapping our opponent. Getting rid of that. Extirpate, you have done your work this game. Because you have what? You got rid of all of the Grand Architects and all of the fairies. Hit a lot of stuff. Hard for our opponent to come back from that. So we do 2 damage to our opponent. We get both of his war zones, which is super funny. Yeah, I guess so. And then we're just going to replay Desecration Demon. Oh, sweet, I can even tap the one that he gave me. Sweet. Okay, opponent. What do you have? Do you literally draw into anything, or are you done? Draw into anything, or are you done? That is the question of the day. Question of Spreading Seas. Sweet. I guess in reality he gets to draw a card, so that's a neat thing. This Warzone is a terrible card. Don't ever play this. Contested Warzone. Don't play this. Okay, so our opponent decided he can't do anything, and he decided to scoop the match. Anyways, this has been Mono Black Control playing against a very strange version of Favorable Wings. Until next time, though, I'm Adrian, this is Giant Monster Games, and don't forget to game like a giant monster.